WrestlePod is supported by viewers like you. To support WrestlePod and the other programs on this channel, visit patreon.com/Ian Beaumont live and direct. SummerSlam happened this past Sunday, and it was a mixed bag. My full review coming up next on WrestlePod. From Ian Beaumont live and direct, this is WrestlePod. Welcome along. So we have just had SummerSlam this past Sunday, and it's taken me a couple of days to kind of process my thoughts. So let's give you my thoughts on SummerSlam. First of all, we'll start on the pre-show. Lana Rusev, Almas Vega. I had no interest in this. The match didn't impress me at all. Vega rolling up Lana and just about getting her feet on the ropes for the 3 count, for the third hand coming down. Nothing about that impressed me. 1 star. Cedric Alexander defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Drew Gulak, however, much better. It's actually kind of making me interested to watch 205 live. Maybe not live, but to actually watch it back on a regular basis now. Because the couple of matches I've seen from them recently have been really good. So, maybe I'll get into watching 205 live. I don't know. But that said, I've been watching NXT takeovers for a while, and it still hasn't gotten me into watching NXT on a regular basis. That said, though, takeovers are nice. I go into them knowing almost nothing, and I still end up pretty much reading the situation mostly correctly. In the end, Alexander pinned Gulak after a long sequence of near falls. It was a roll up that finally got the 3 count, and that was good. I have to give that one 3 stars. I think it was a hell of a match. B Team against the Revival. Again, I had really no interest in, and didn't really enjoy the match at all. The kind of gimmicky finish that they're doing with the B Team, mostly, not exclusively, but mostly these days, where they kind of stumble into a victory. They did that again. It was clever. It was done well, but I'm not a fan of it. Unless you do it really well every time, and they haven't quite yet, but we'll see. So yeah, pre-show wise, I wasn't, other than the Cruiserweight Championship, wasn't impressed. When we get to the actual pay-per-view, okay. Starting off on a hot note, and it didn't start off like immediately hot, it took its time. It properly built up nicely. How a match should build up. We're talking Dolph Ziggler again, defending the Intercontinental Championship against Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose in the corner of Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre in the corner of Dolph Ziggler. And yeah, really impressed. build up nicely. I like the fact that McIntyre was kind of neutralized by Dean's presence. He didn't really... He tried to take Dean out then so that he could interfere. Dean eventually hits him with a dirty deed. You think that's actually distracted Rollins in the ring, but Rollins manages to beat Ziggler to the super kick, and then the stomp, and 1, 2, 3. Oh yes, new Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins. That was really good. I really like that match. I'm gonna give that 4 stars because beautiful storytelling through the match. Really, really good. Was surprised the Bludgeon Brothers came up next. Wasn't expecting that to kind of later in the night, but there was always a chance it was going to come on early because the New Day will sometimes have opened up before, and it was a good match. Not quite as good as Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, but the New Day have a habit of making people look good, and yeah, they definitely made the Bludgeon Brothers look amazing. No two ways about it. Xavier hit the most insane elbow drop from the top turnbuckle to the outside, and he sold it that he'd hurt himself in the process. Sold it like an absolute champ. Yeah, I liked a lot of the match. The finish was, some people might say, a little wonky. I'm saying it's a good story beat at this point, because the Bludgeon Brothers were forced to use the hammer to get themselves disqualified. I like that. I like that storytelling beat that we have there. That it's not a huge thing, but it's actually quite nice that the New Day took the Bludgeon Brothers to that point where they were thinking, cripes, we can't actually crush these guys. We're gonna have to do something else. So yeah, I thought that was good. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I'd say certainly wasn't on the same level as Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, but it was a good match. Braun Strowman defended his Money in the Bank contract against Kevin Owens, and honestly, I had to go to the toilet at that point. It was bursting. And I thought it'll still be going on when I got back. When I got back, it was all over. I was like, what? Apparently, I had to verify this from a few places. I've had to watch it back as well. It was a squiggity squash. And there were a few of those in the night, but this was not one I was expecting to be a squash. I was expecting it to be, I was expecting a more sneaky Kevin Owens. But Kevin just did nothing, well, apart from one shot, and I did nothing. It was a complete and utter squash, and Strowman holds on to the contract. If you're gonna book that match, why are you even bothering to put the Money in the Bank contract on the line? Makes no sense. So yeah, wasn't impressed. A 1/4 star. It happened. And that's about the best thing you can say about it. Next up, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship triple threat match between Carmella, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. And oh my god, Carmella was booked strong, too strong really for her character. She's not meant to be a strong contender. Not in my view, anyway. I don't see her like that. So yeah, I was a little surprised that they booked her to look so strong against the other two. But the match overall was pretty good. I didn't mind it. I'm gonna give it about 2.5 stars out of 5 for the match itself. Cause that finish was a little bit interesting. I probably wouldn't have booked it exactly that way, but Becky having Carmella and disarm her, only for Charlotte to hit natural selection on Becky. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte wins. And after the match, Becky hugs Charlotte, sort of, well done. Then absolutely lays waste to her. Whoa, man, did she lay waste. And she was getting babyface pops like crazy. It was the most insane reaction I think I'd ever heard to a heel turn. But I think in this case, you can understand why Becky is so frustrated. It was good. It was great storytelling, and she's nicknamed the Irish Lass Kicker, and boy, did she kick some lass then. I think in that sense, it probably makes her better as a character if she's got a bit of, let's say, heelish tendencies. She can't be, you can't be a lass kicker and be a real baby face. No, you gotta have a bit of heelish tendencies there. So, yeah, I'm good with that. And I would give that segment. I can't give it a star rating because of the thing, but I would give that particular after-match segment an A because it was perfect. Elias, I have absolutely no interest in. And the segment itself turned out to be weirder than anything I could have think. Apparently he broke the guitar he was playing. How do you do that? Break the neck of the guitar like that. I was not. I'm not impressed by Elias's. I like the Drifter should be something else, not quite like a wandering minstrel. I think he should be, and he certainly shouldn't be out there every week playing the guitar, cutting promos like that. No. You shouldn't really be hearing from him if he's a drifter. If he's sort of drifting from town to town, and you kind of see him around, and yes, maybe he comes out for a match, but he doesn't come out through the stage, on the stage. He comes out through the crowd, and it's like, what? I think that would be better. I just don't like I've never liked the current gimmick. I don't like it at all. The fact that he can play a guitar, so what? He's a wrestler. Let's have some wrestling. So no, I can't again, I can't give it a star rating because it wasn't a wrestling match. But as a grade, it gets the F. It gets the fail. Because he has no interest in me at all and no heat. Because I couldn't care less if he's out there or not. If he's not wrestling, it's not worth it. Simple. That is my view of Elias. As long as he's out there doing stupid stuff with a guitar, keep him off my screens. Get him in some matches, get him proving how good he actually can be, then maybe I'll start paying some attention to him. Otherwise, no. Not interested. Daniel Bryan faced The Miz next, and Maurice was in the crowd. Not at ringside. Well, she was technically just outside ringside, but she was in the crowd, in the front row. And there was some sneaky stuff going on. Great match, though. I don't want to say it was... I mean, it was obviously a feud starter match in that sense. It was like the first match in a series of matches. But it wasn't... They didn't play it down too much. You had the sense there was some real heat there, which I actually like. At the end of the match, Maurice hands Miz some brass knuckles. And you don't see them clearly, but you can just about make out that it's brass knuckles. Bryan goes to do a dive. Whack! In the head. Bryan's knocked out cold. Miz pretends to stumble over to Maurice. It's so hokey. That bit. Then he kind of stumbles into the ring. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Miz wins. Which I kind of thought, I didn't see how that was possible before. Now, having looked back at it and having let it settle in my head for a while, yeah, it was kind of the only thing it could be. I didn't have a strong sense of where this feud could go going into it. After that match, I think I have a better sense of where this is going. It's not the be all. It's certainly, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to rush this. But I definitely get the sense that this could be a 3-match series. Or it could even be like a 5-match series. And maybe the next one won't be a Hell in a Cell. Although that could be good. I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it being in the cell. But I don't think they'll do that because of the concussion. The potential concussion issue with Daniel Bryan. I don't think they'll do that. I'm wondering if the next one's going to be at Super Showdown in Australia. And then you'll have it at Survivor Series, and then Royal Rumble, and then WrestleMania. That's the kind of the 5-match series I'm thinking about. Where it's kind of, you can tell with Super Showdown and already. They're going for some marquee matchups. And Daniel Bryan versus The Miz would definitely be a marquee matchup. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking that's when the next one's going to be. Which actually would be nicely spreading it out. You know, it's not like you have them at every pay-per-view, but what you do have is sort of, you'll have, like, a little bit of a longer build to the next one. A little bit of a longer build to the one after that. Couple of months worth of build to the one after that, and so on, and then finally you'll get the 2-2, and then boom. I think that could be a possibility, but we'll see. By this point, though, everybody was thinking, we haven't had Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin yet, and that was and people were thinking of that as a nothing thing. And then we were due to have that match, and Corbin came out, and then Finn Balor came out, or rather, the Demon King, Finn Balor, came out. Oh my goodness. I was a little bit surprised by that. So yeah, this was another squiggity squash. But in comparison to Braun and Kevin earlier, this one felt better written and better handled. The Demon... I won't say the Demon appearing here was indicative of anything. Other than... I think Finn just wanted to prove a point. He can bring forth that Demon whenever he feels like he wants that. And yeah, I think that was a great move to make, to make the Demon look, whoa, like totally on another level. Because those two have had interesting sort of matches, but the Demon just looked like, whoa, a whole nother level beyond, like, normal Finn Balor. So, yeah. I can only give it, like, 2 stars, because most squiggity squashes are never great, but this one was actually kind of decent, and felt right for the story that was being told. So, yeah. Good stuff. Shinsuke Nakamura. Jeff Hardy, US Championship. This one didn't really run long either. I don't think. Around 11 minutes. I was surprised. I mean, Balor Corbin barely made it over the 90 seconds mark. But we'd had the 3 longest matches of the night already. Which were the Intercontinental Championship, the WWE Championship, and the Miz Daniel Bryan feud. We'd already had the 3 longest matches of the night. And we weren't going to be getting, like, very long ones here. And I know it was listed as 11 minutes. It felt longer. No, it felt shorter. That's what I mean. It didn't feel that long. It felt like it had like a 10-minute time limit on it. Obviously, it didn't because it went 11 minutes. but it did feel like a kind of a 10-minute time limit match. And I'm rather glad, actually, that he didn't go for the immediate low blow like he did at Extreme Rules. I think, But the one thing that impressed me was when he did go for the low blow, the Pinchasa, the phenomenal ball arm, call it what you will. Jeff Hardy actually dodged it. Which, I thought, damn, you rarely see that ever in professional wrestling. So, 2 thumbs up for that moment, because that told the story in itself, which I thought was great. Hardy attempted a Swanton Bomb. He hit a Swanton Bomb off the top turnbuckle onto the ring apron, but Shinsuke was not there, and suddenly, he just hit that hard, and oh god, that was brutal. And I was like, oh god. I honestly thought he had done himself a serious injury there. Nakamura gets Hardy back in the ring and hits the Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. Still US champion. I was okay with that. After the match, I think I'm gonna give this match like 2.5 stars. It was okay. It wasn't special, but it was okay. Did well enough. Randy Orton comes down, and I'm gonna give this little after-match segment, I'm gonna give it an F. Because whatever they're going for, it failed completely. Orton comes out. Hell, I still don't really know what they were going for here. And it's so... whatever they thought they were trying to do, they failed on it. Orton comes out, walks, kind of saunters down to ringside, kind of stalking his prey, who we think is Jeff Hardy. And at the bottom of the ramp, he just stops, turns around, and walks back. Why? That made no sense at all. So, yeah, that aftermatch segment gets an F. Fail. Whatever you were trying for didn't work at all. So, just 2 matches left to talk about. First one of those is Ronda Rousey taking on Alexa Bliss. Alexa defending the Raw Women's Championship. But before we got that match, I'm gonna have to give this little pre-match bit an A star, because it was beautiful. Before the match, before anybody even comes out, Natalia's music plays, and she comes out. She's in a ring gear, but over the top of that, she's wearing a jacket. It was the jacket Jim Neidhart, the late, great Jim Neidhart, wore to SummerSlam 1990, when he and Bret Hart won the WWF Tag Team titles. And the love and the affection and the support that was coming from the WWE Universe in that entrance, and her just coming down the ramp very slowly. She was just taking it all in, and the reaction was beautiful. No two ways about it. I was so impressed. Impressed that WWE, first of all, just allowed that, and secondly, that the WWE Universe absolutely shone that in that moment to Natalia. That was amazing. That little pre-match segment has to get an A-star from me. And the Golden Awesome, because you couldn't ask for anything better. Then Alexa came out, then Ronda came out, and we had what was a pretty short match for the Raw Women's Championship. It was only about 4 minutes. Basically, Rousey dominated the entire match, kept throwing Bliss around. Bliss kept trying to, create separation, get out of the ring, frustrate Rousey. At one point, Rousey just kind of sat down in a yoga pose, cross-legged, and just basically invited Bliss to have a free shot. Which Bliss, sort of, after a little bit of hesitation, did try and take advantage of. Tried to put her in a bit of a chin lock. Had no effect. Rousey just threw her off, and I like the fact that they used Bliss's double joint. Bliss has used her own double jointedness to kind of sell an injury, and then magically be fine. This time, she was selling. She was just selling. Sell was perfect. Selling Rousey's set up before the armbar, and then into the armbar, and she just tapped straight away. That was too painful. It was a well put together little match. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars for how short it was. And again, it's a squash. I can't really give it any more. But I think that's about 2.5 stars is about as much as you can give even a squash match. But a top-notch squash match, which this was. Main event. Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. And everyone was worried that this was going to end the night on a real downer. And actually, they booked this surprisingly well. The one thing that surprised me most... Oh, I haven't talked about... AJ Samoa Joe. How could I forget that one? Because that was an insane match. Styles, we'll get back to the Universal Championship, but let's talk the WWE Championship. And even though it was like way down the card, because that surprised me that it was so low down the card. But the way it was finished, I kind of understand why they didn't want to go, like, they didn't want to do this towards the end, especially with kind of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar being the last match. So I kind of understand why they put it in the middle. After the SmackDown Women's Championship, but before Elias, Elias was like the pause between the two halves. So yeah, I kind of understand why they put that there as like a middle of the card main event sort of thing. And this is something WWE are doing a lot more now with their pay-per-views. It's not as it used to be. Straightforward, bottom of the card, middle of the card, top of the card, main event as you go through the night. No. The card now is much more like a roller coaster. You get you get a hot start, cools off for a bit, picks up in the middle, cools off a little bit again, and then picks up towards the end. That's their rough way of. They've mixed that up a little bit in the times, but that's a rough thing of what they relatively do. So you get a hot start. The middle will be particularly strong. The end will be they will try to be particularly strong, and then the stuff outside of those will be less strong. And it kind of, and SummerSlam kind of followed that pattern, but it was a little bit more. There was a few more ups and downs in it than that normal pattern. And honestly, for me, I think this was the match of the night. And I'm gonna give it 4.25 stars. These two have great chemistry. I've known that for years. I've watched them in TNA. And of course they were in Ring of Honor as well. They have amazing chemistry together in the ring. It's great stuff. No two ways about it. Samoa Joe is turning into a truly despicable heel. Someone who... He is not a cool heel. He is a truly despicable, hateable heel. And that is perfect. Perfect for him, actually, as well. Because, one, there are very few real, truly hateable heels in WWE, in pro wrestling right now. But also, it really sells him so much better. So, yeah, I was kind of impressed by Samoa Joe's heel work in kind of taunting Wendy Styles, AJ's wife, and the daughter was there as well. I really kind of dug that. But also, as I've said before, their chemistry through this match and the ability that the two of them have is amazing. And this is a feud starter, and they can still go higher. And I fully expect this started off a feud as a hot match. And I definitely think this one is going to Hell in a Cell. Because of all the matches that they could put that stipulation on, this is the one right now. There could be another one, maybe with the Bludgeon Brothers, a New Day. That's a possibility. But of all of them, this is the one that feels like it's most ready for it and most deserves that stipulation. So, yeah, Hell in a Cell? I'd like to see that. Oh boy, would I like to see that. I definitely think, though, based upon what they've done, I kind of thought that was going to happen. If you've seen my predictions video, I think I said I was calling that it would go to Hell in a Cell and they would do it in the cell. I think after what happened at the end there, where Samoa Joe gets up on one of the broadcast tables and says something along the lines of, well, it looks like AJ's not going to be coming home tonight, but don't worry, I'll be your daddy. And AJ snapped and absolutely went to town on this. And I tell you what they could do with this. They could do, I know NXT TakeOver War Games 2 is coming up, but they can do a variation on the War Games concept. It won't be 2 rings, it'll be the 1 ring and that ringside area in the cell. But just make sure that underneath the ring there are plenty of weapons. And let it be like a complete no holds barred, absolute train wreck of a match. Where they batter each other brutally, and I literally think it will be, have it be that all weapons are just perfectly legal, and just have them batter the living hell out of each other. It's not like they haven't done that before in Impact TNA, but it would, for the WWE Championship, I think it deserves this. This feud deserves it. So we have that as like the pinnacle of the night. And then later on in the night, at the end, we had Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, which everybody was thinking was going to be absolutely depressing. Didn't turn out to be. Turned out to be a lot better match than we suspected. It only went about 6 minutes. But that's about perfect. It didn't need to be very long. But I like the fact that before the match began, Braun Strowman's music hits and he comes out. And he basically tells them both, good luck to both of you. Even called Lesnar Beastie Boy, which I thought was funny as hell. He says, because after the match, I'm cashing in. And I thought, yeah, good. Look forward to that. So Reigns gets off to a quick start. I think it was like Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, spear, spear, and on the third attempted spear, Lesnar catches him in a guillotine chokehold. Woo, that was a good move. And yeah, it was kind of fast, and it was nice sort of quick start. Didn't really slow down too much with the chokes. Roman powered out of both attempts. One took a bit longer than the other. That was fine. Kind of needed to do that. But yeah, that was quite good. So both times he countered that into a spine buster, which, oh god, it looked brutal. But this match did look brutal all the way. Reigns attempts a spear. Brock dodges it, and Reigns flies out of the ring and into Braun Strowman. Obviously that was unintentional. But yeah, that was quite a good spot. I didn't mind that. Lesnar hits Strowman with an F5, strikes him with the briefcase, then throws it like hard up to the top of the ramp. It actually hits the LED screen at the top, which was, I mean, I don't know how much that briefcase weighs. It looks like it weighs about 30 pounds because it's metal. So it's probably not like a standard briefcase, but man, that was some throw. But yeah, he goes to get back. He gets back in, but he walks right into a Roman Reigns spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is your new Universal Champion, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Match was 2.5 stars. I almost gave it 3. If Braun had actually gone ahead and tried to cash in, I probably would have gone to 3 stars. But I almost gave it 3 without that. But 2.5 I think is fair. I really thought that was a lot better match than it had any right to be. But all told, it told the story well. I like the fact that Braun didn't. I do like the fact that Braun didn't actually quite get to cash in. It's a story that would be repeated with a twist next night on Raw. That was quite something in itself as well. But yeah, quite happy with that. I think my overall grade for SummerSlam has to be B+. I can't quite go up to the A- that some people have given it, because, yeah, 2 of those aftermatch segments made no sense at all. Some of the matches just did not have any heat with me at all, did not interest me, didn't think much of them. That Elias segment was completely stupid, made no sense, and that, all of that brought down what were some excellent matches. Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, great match. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler, great match. New Day versus Bludgeon Brothers, damn well. Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, match of the night for me. Miz, Daniel Bryan, hell of a match. And even Ronda Rousey, Alexa Bliss, did a lot better than I thought it was ever going to. So, yeah. And even the ones that disappointed, the ones that most disappointed, Almas Vega versus Rusev and Lana, that had absolutely no interest. B-Team defeating the Revival. I was kind of into the match, but I just didn't feel... I mean, it's 2 stars. But it wasn't great. Wasn't great. Not really. Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens. Bad match. And even those, though, they can only bring it down a bit. They didn't drop the whole lot. Because you still had your Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy's, the Carmella, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, still decent matches, even though they weren't. And even Finn Balor, Baron Corbin held its own in the card. I didn't feel that it got quite up to an A minus, but it was a definite B plus for me. I enjoyed most of the night, and it certainly wasn't quite as long as I was fearing it was going to be, which is a good thing, a very good thing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on SummerSlam. What did you think of SummerSlam? Whatever your thoughts, drop them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Like, share, subscribe, support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Ian Beaumont live and direct. Like WrestlePod on Facebook, facebook.com/WrestlePod IBLND. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Stay sharp, stay tuned.